So today we're going to talk about our next congruence transformation, and that's called translations. Now, if you remember when we first started talking about transformations, we called translations our slide. Now, that slide that happens to get from the starting image, pre-image to the image is slid along what we call a vector. All right, all you need to know is that gives us some direction and some length that we are moving the shape with. So if you see right here, this notation over the W, the like half arrow, that's the symbol for a vector. So I'm not going to have you guys do this, but what we would do is we would take this shape, GHIJ, and we would move it the distance of this arrow and in that same angle. All right, so that's what a vector does. Now we're typically going to be looking at more so numbers, and we're going to be moving things in the coordinate plane that way. So if you look here, our rule for translations is very simple. It's the same thing no matter what kind of movement you're doing. But we're going to have a vector that looks like this right here. It has like the pointed brackets around the numbers. So we're going to call the number in that first spot A and the number in the second spot B. Now, if you remember, we're talking about a coordinate. We have an X and a Y. So this vector is telling us how we are moving along the x-axis and along the y-axis. So we're going to add the a value to our x and the b value to our y, and that'll give us our new point after it's been translated over the vector. So let's take a look at this example here. So we just have one point in the coordinate plane. We have the point -2, 3. And we're moving that over the vector 7, 4. So that means to -2, we're going to add 7, and that will give us 5. So for our ending point, our P prime, our X value is 5. Then we start with our Y value of 3, and we're going to add 4 to it. That's our B value, and that'll give us 7. So that means our Y coordinate for the final point, P prime, is 7. So we've just moved this point 7 to the right and up 4. So remember, X talks about that left and right, because that's where the x-axis is, and Y, that B value, talks about up and down. All right, and again, corresponding with that y-axis. All right, so what I want to look at here is we're going to look at our original coordinates and we're going to move it around some vector. Now, I want you to get into the habit of labeling things like this. So we have T, U, and V. So point T is going to start as -1, -4. U is going to start as 6, 2. And V is going to start as 5, -5. So we're translating that over the vector -3, 2. So that means that we are adding -3, or subtracting 3 from all the x values, and adding 2 to all the y values. So T prime, we have -1 minus 3, so that's going to give us -4, and then we have -4 plus 2, be -2. U prime, we're again going to add or -3, so 6 minus 3 will give us 3. 2 plus 2 will give us 4. And then for the last one, V prime, we're going to subtract 3 and add 2. So we end up with 5 minus 3 is 2. And -5 plus 2 will give us -3. All right, so I'm now going to plot these points. I'm going to start with T, U, and V. So I have -1, -1, 2, 3, 4. I have 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, up 2. And I should be labeling these T, U, and V is 5, 3, 4, 5, down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and V. All right, so this is my pre-image, so beautifully drawn. All right, and my image, I have -4, 1, 2, 3, 4, -2. that's t prime. My u prime is 3, 2, 3, up 1, 2, 3, 4. And my v prime is 2, 1, 2, down 1, 2, 3. All right, so again, you'll notice it's a congruence transformation because we are not changing the shape or the size, we're just sliding it. So we've slid this 3 to the left and up 2. And if you look at our points, that's what we did. So t to t prime is 1, 2, 3 to the left, 1, 2, up 2. That -3 represents that 3 to the left, the 2 represents the up 2. All right, so for this last one, I'm just going to go through the coordinates. I'm not going to graph this one, but I just want to make sure you guys are solid with these coordinates. So we're moving along the vector -5, -1, and here I'm starting with P is 1, 0, E is 2, 2, N is 4, 1, T is 4, -1, and A is 2, -2. All right, so for P prime, we're going to subtract 5. So basically, what we're doing is we're subtracting 5 from all the x values, so all the numbers in this first column. And then we're subtracting 1 from all the y values, so all the numbers in this column. All right, so 1 minus 5 will give me -4. And then 0 minus 1 will give me -1. E prime, I have 2 minus 5 will give me -3. 2 minus 1 will give me 1. N prime, 4 minus 5 will give me -1. And then 1 minus 1 will give me 0. T, I have 4 minus 5. So T prime will be -1. -1 minus 1 will give me -2. And then A, so I have 2 minus 5. So A prime, 2 minus 5 will give me -3. And then -2 minus 1 will give me -3. And these would be my coordinates for my image, translated along the vector -5, -1.